26 NCSA Summer Swimming Championships. We had a great day yesterday. Last evening's final of the men's 100 free. 14-year-old Liu Torbijiski set a new national age group record in the 100 freestyle, and his time for his age group, 51.03, pretty good stuff. Today we're going to see competition in the women's 200 free, men's 400 IM, the 100 breaststroke, women's 200 butterfly, and men's 100 backstroke. We're going to start it off this morning, 15 preliminary heats in women's 200 free. Heat 1. Heat 1, lane 3, Gabby Graham for Academy Bullets. Lane 4, Whitney Jones for Lakeside. Lane 5, Sammy Bilderman for Waukesha Express. And lane 6, Maggie Montel for Academy Bullets. Swimmers, we want to remind you that if you go upstairs off the pool deck, you need to be completely dried off and you need to have shoes on. That per regulations here at the IU Natatorium. Maggie Montiel, Academy Bullets, 103.29 at the 100, ahead of Whitney Jones, Lakeside Swim Team. Swimmers, if you end up being a top seed in an event this evening, you want to pick out your parade music. You need to pick out your parade music before you head back for your afternoon break. Again, swimmers that qualify as the top seed in individual events today want to pick out the parade music. Come see me here at my announce position, but you need to pick out your songs before you head back for your afternoon break. NCSA record in the women's 200 freestyle, 159.87. Camille Spink, Nation's Capital, 2022. Maggie Montiel, Academy Bullets on the wall, 2:11.11 to start us off in the women's 200 free. Heat 2. Heat 2, lane 1, Sienna Zonner for Sandpipers of Nevada. Lane 2, Kinley Neville for our Tide Riders. Lane 3, Kennedy Fitzgerald, Chicago Wolfpack. Lane 4, Skylar Dean, Rockville Montgomery. Lane 5, Nora Francis, Nova of Virginia. Lane 6, Susanna Geidelman, North Carolina Aquatic Club. Lane 6, Ania Karowski of Iswaki Aquatics. And lane 8, Greta Mikulinic from Chicago Wolfpack. Fitzgerald out front at the 100, 103.14, ahead of Zotter in lane 1, 103.16. Sienna's Honor, Sandpipers in Nevada, lane 1, 159.35, heat 3. Again, that was 213.18, Sienna's Honor, Sandpiper in heat 2. Heat 3 underway now. Lane 1, Ellie Brenner, Nation's Capital. Lane 2, Finley Chong for Rockville Montgomery. Lane 3, Emily Alberts, Edina Swim Club. Lane 4, Brooklyn Johnson, Chicago Wolfpack. Lane 5, Kate Brinton, Tide Riders. Lane 6, Kinsley Fitzgerald, Chicago Wolfpack. Lane 7, Lily Ruth Scott, Core Swimming. And lane 8 for Nassau Wildcat Aquatics is Pelini Peria Kulave. Emily Alberts, Edina out front, lane 3, 103.96, ahead of Kate Brinton of Tide Riders, lane 5, turned into 104.13. Now out front, bringing heat 3 to the finish, Kate Brinton, Tide Riders. Brinton's time, 2:11.59, heat 4. Heat 4, lane 1, Chase Messamino, Chicago Wolfpack. Lane 2, Isabel Zarco, Sandpipers in Nevada. Lane 3, Sophie Katz, Edina Swim Club. Lane 4, Naomi Ehlers of Dad's Club. Lane 5, Elizabeth McIntyre, Aquatic Team of Mecklenburg. Lane 6, Mia Devlin, Wilmington Aquatic Club. 7, Sierra Brom from Huntsville Swim Association. And lane 8, Lexi Casey, St. Andrews Aquatics. Casey in lane 8 turns at the 100, 102.53. Second position, lane 5, Elizabeth McIntyre, Aquatic Team of Mecklenburg, 103.38. Naomi Ehlers, 209.95 into heat 5. Heat 5, Lane 1, Maya Wedeking, Kentucky Aquatics. Lane 2, Avery Music, NASA Wildcat Aquatics. Lane 3, Whitney Schischler, Suburban Seahawks. Lane 4, Lane Curry from Tide Riders. Lane 5, Millie Reddick, Mecklenburg Swimming. Lane 6, Nola Quinn, Iswaki Aquatics. Lane 7, May Lee from Excel Aquatics. Lane 8, Catherine Durbin from H2 Oki Aquatics. Millie Reddick at the 100, 102.04. Head of Lane Curry of Tide Riders, 102.81. Millie Reddick, Mecklenburg, into the wall. Her time, 2:10.11. Heat 6. Heat 6, Lane 1, Allie Hayes of Long Island Aquatic Club. Lane 2, Jenna Riddings of Parkway Rockwood. Lane 3, Corinna Miller, Academy Bullets. Lane 4, Rowan Rossiwita of Waukesha Express. Lane 5, Madeline Payton, Lakeside Swim Team. Lane 6, Mariposa Arroyo, Chicago Wolfpack. 7, Hayden Cruz of Academy Bullets. And Lane 8, Brooklyn Lewis from Excel Aquatics. Hayden Cruz out front, lane 7, 102.65. Head of Madeline Payton at Lakeside, who turned at the 100, 102.86. Hayden Cruz, Academy Bullets in lane 7. Hayden's time, 2:08.84. Heat 7. Heat 7, lane 1, Kalina Aw, Mansfield Aquatic Club. Lane 2, Emily Demasius, of Dad's Club. Lane 3, Rachel Brzezinski, Waukesha Express. Lane 4, Audrey Lindstrom, Academy Bullets. Lane 5, Gabby Heinz of Irish Aquatics. Lane 6, Lipa Niaru from Chicago Wolfpack. Lane 7, Avery Antonuski, Waukesha Express. Lane 8, Izzy Mason, Rockville, Montgomery. Turn, and in lane 3, Rachel Brzezinski, Waukesha Express, 102.91, ahead of Kalina All, Mansfield Aquatic in lane 1, 102.93. Lane 2, Emily Demisius, Dad's Club, 208.30. Heat 8. Heat 8, lane 1, Maren Heitzman, Dinah Swim Club. Lane 2, Ariana Aldeguer, Nation's Capital. Lane 3, Noel Rice, Tide Riders. Lane 4, Ayla Madera, Fishers Area Swimming Tigers. Lane 5, Brianna Fleming, Nation's Capital. Lane 6, Colleen Tracy, Chicago Wolfpack. Lane 7, McKinley Cushman, Nation's Capital. And lane 8, Tatum Scully, Huntsville Swim Association. Out front, lane 3, Noelle Rice of Tide Riders. 100 turn, 100.94. Second position, lane 8, Tatum Scully, Huntsville Swim Association, 102.05. It's going to be Aldeguer first to touch in Heat 8 from Nation's Capital, 205.97. Actually, Noelle Rice, lane 3 from Tide Riders. Sorry about that. 205.97, Heat 9. Heat 9, Rosie Gutierrez, North Carolina Aquatic. Lane 2, Avery Canine of Tide Riders. Lane 3, Jackie Furchess of Arlington Aquatic Club. Lane 4, Sophie Thornburg, North Carolina Aquatic. Lane 5, Brooklyn Rager, Fast Tigers. Lane 6, Emily Heinz of Greenville. Lane 7, Kira Hunter with Zionsville Swim Club. And lane 8, Cameron Jones with Germantown Academy. Hundred turn, Avery Canine of Tide Riders, 102.09. Second at the 100, lane 4, Sophie Thornburg, North Carolina Aquatics, 102.36. Now into the lead, lane 4, Sophie Thornburg, North Carolina Aquatics at the 150. Canine now in second, lane 2. Avery Canine, Tide Riders back to the front in lane 2 of heat 9. Canine's time, 2:08.41 into heat 10 now. Heat 10, lane 1, Louise Fedarson, Mecklenburg. Lane 2, Gabrielle Day, Rockville, Montgomery. Lane 3, Ariana Cortez Martinez, Nation's Capital. Lane 4, Kiara DeLong of Dad's Club. Lane 5, Layla Miglietta of Nassau Wildcat Aquatics. Lane 6, Ava Jewell, Waukesha Express. Lane 7, Penelope Chow, North Carolina Aquatic. And lane 8, Olivia White, Mecklenburg Swimming. Cortez Martinez, Nation's Capital at the 100, 101.51, ahead of Gabriel Day, Rockville, Montgomery in lane 2, 102.09. On the move over in lane 1, Louise Fedarson, Mecklenburg. As they come underneath the backstroke flags, will it be Cortez Martinez or Fedarson? It is going to be Louise Fedarson, Mecklenburg, 2:07.77, heat 11. Heat 11, Lindsay Stiegel from Waukesha Express. Lane 2, Abby Schneider, Team Greenville. Lane 3, McKinley Busson from Nation's Capital. Lane 4, Emmy Meyer, Waukesha Express. Lane 5, Katie Dunfield, Ole Swimming. Lane 6, Maddie Lang, Stingrays Swim Team. Lane 7, Mary Drummond, Aquatic Team of Mecklenburg. And Lane 8, Macy DeGroot from Shark Swim Club. Here in heat 11, the 100 turn, Abby Schneider, Team Greenville, 101.74. Second position, lane 5, Katie Dunfield of Ole, 101.81. Dunfield now to the front at the 150, turning at a 133.99 ahead of Schneider. Third position at the 150, Meyer from Waukesha Express. Heat 11 closes up here, coming into the wall. Katie Dunfield, 2:06.33, heat 12. Heat 12, lane 1, Samantha Packard, Greenwich YWCA. Lane 2, Ella Proper, Nation's Capital. Lane 3, Annabelle Naraki, Academy Bullets. Lane 4, Carolyn Kilty, Nation's Capital. Lane 5, Sylvia Dilladuca of New Trier. Lane 6 is Margaret Litzow of New Trier. Lane 7, Amelia Edwards, Nation's Capital. And Lane 8, Harper Roche of Chicago Wolfpack. Quickest time so far out of heat 8, Noelle Rice, Tide Riders, 2:05.97. Carolyn Kilty, Nation's Capital at the 100, 101.75. Had of Annabelle Naraki, Academy Bullets, lane 3, 102.04. Kilty's still out front at the 150. Now second position, Sylvia Dilladuca of New Trier Aquatics in lane 5. Dilladuca fighting it out with Kilty. Lane 4 coming in. But in lane 6, Margaret Litzow, New Trier, first to touch, time of 2:06.73, heat 13. Heat 13, the first of our circle-seated heats in the preliminaries of women's 200 freestyle. Lane 1, Maris Williams for Fort Wayne Swim Team. Lane 2, Mara Ahern, Rockville Montgomery. Lane 3, Lauren Wedeking for Kentucky Aquatics. Lane 4, Ava Graziani for Lakeside. Lane 5, Joyce Liu for Suburban Seahawks. Lane 6, Odette Brown for Team Greenville. Lane 7, Gabby Green for Parkway Rockwood. Lane 8, Ginger Strickland for Nations Capital. Lauren Wedeking, Kentucky Aquatics, 100.71 ahead of Ava Graziani, Lakeside Swim Team, 100.92. Wedeking still out front. Joyce Liu, Suburban Seahawks, second in lane 5. Third, Ava Graziani, Lakeside in 4. Joyce Liu, Suburban Seahawks, lane 5 is going to plant it on the wall, 2:04.53. That's the quickest time so far, heading into heat 14. Heat 14, lane 1, set of Grace Barty from Mecklenburg. Lane 2, Marlene Cooksey of Lakeside. Lane 3, Emily Schneider, Team Greenville. Lane 4, Ella Antonuski of Waukesha Express. Lane 5, Nolo Waldbusser of Suburban Seahawks. Lane 6, Kate Fetters, Fort Wayne Swim Team. Lane 7, Arden Keitel, Germantown Academy. And lane 8, Maddie Brennan of Petty Aquatic Association. Emily Schneider, Team Greenville, turns at the 100 in lane 3, 100.61, ahead of Kate Fetters, Fort Wayne Swim Team in lane 6, 100.77. Schneider still out in front, lane 3. Fetters still second in lane 6. I'm sorry, yeah, Fetters second in lane 6. And third at the 150, Brennan in lane 8. Emily Schneider, Team Greenville, in a time of 2:04.07. Fast so far. One more heat left to go, heat 15. This is our final 15th, final preliminary heat in the women's 200 free. Lane 1, Brantley Patterson from Nova, Virginia. Lane 2, Emery Vanna from Sandpipers of Nevada. Lane 3, Jillian Worsma, H2Oki Aquatics. Lane 4, Paige Kowal, Academy Bullets. Lane 5, Megan Bluthman, Ole Swimming. Lane 6, Maddie Herzig of Mecklenburg. Lane 7, Kayla Kowal, Academy Bullets. And lane 8, Joy Chang of Chicago Wolfpack. 100 turning out front, Megan Bluthman, Ole swimming, 1:00.37. Head of Paige Kowal, Academy Bullets in lane 4, 1:00.83. Quick time so far, 2:04.07 out of the last heat. Megan Bluthman of Ole swimming, 2:04.01, the quickest posting in the preliminaries of the women's 200 free. 12 preliminary heats now in men's 400 IM, heat 1. Heat 1, lane 3, Elliott Sapp of Parkway Rockwood. Lane 4, Cole Strom of Parkway Rockwood. And lane 5, Nixon Fowl of Lakeside. Coaches and swimmers, preliminary results from the women's 200 freestyle are now posted. Time now is 9:07. Heat 1 pretty close here at the 200 turn. Cole Strom, Parkway Rockwood, 2:19.30. His teammate Elliott Sapp second, and third to turn here in Heat 1 at the 200. Nixon Fowl of Lakeside, 2:19.80. Once again, swimmers, if you end up being a top seed in an event for this evening, you're welcome to pick out your parade music, or I can do it for you. If you want to pick out your own walkout song, you need to do so before you leave the Natatorium heading back for your afternoon break. Also want to remind swimmers once again, if you go up to the upper level, you must be completely dried off and have your shoes on. And that is at the request of the IU Natatorium staff. Elliott Sapp, Parkway Rockwood at the end of the breaststroke, 340.72 ahead of Strom. On the charge coming back with half a length to go here in heat one, Cole Strom. Elliott Sapp. Also Parkway Rockwood, lane 3. He picks it up a notch. Stretches out his lead now, coming into the wall. Sapp, 446.63, heat 2. Heat 2, lane 1 of the men's 400 IM preliminaries, Donnie Kennedy of New Trier Aquatics. Lane 2, Griffin Weisenberg, Nation's Capital. Lane 3, Academy Bullocks, Lucas Postavelov. Lane 4, Lakeside, Jack Baraga. Lane 5, St. Andrews Aquatics, Luke Reed. 6 for Parkway Rockwood is Max McMillan. 7 for North Carolina Aquatic, Jacob Sue. NCSA record of the men's 400 IM, 418.28. Landon D'Ariano, Germantown Academy in 2023. End of the fly, Jacob Sue, North Carolina Aquatic, lane 7, 102.04. At the 100 from Academy Bullets, Lucas Postavelov, 103.16. Jacob Sue, North Carolina Aquatics here in lane 7s. Got a nice little lead on the backstroke leg. Turns it to 200, 214.90. Head of Max McMillan, Parkway Rockwood, 216.68. Jacob Sue, North Carolina, through the breaststroke as he turns in a 3:36.34. Second in lane 3, still Pustavelov of Academy Bullets, turned in a 3:37.92. Coming down to the finish in heat 2. Touching first, coming back fast on the freestyle, Lucas Pustavelov, Academy Bullets, 4:42.93, heat 3 now. Heat 3, lane 1 for Ole Swimming, Benjamin Beletensky. Lane 2 for Nation's Capital, James Kratz. Lane 3 for Nation's Capital, Tolga Killick. Lane 4 for Nova of Virginia, Zach Bender. Lane 5, Lakeside Swim Team, Jackson Logston. Lane 6, Ethan Chania for Long Island Aquatic. Lane 7, Camden Theodos for Tide Riders. And Lane 8, Brady Turner, Suburban Seahawks. Through the fly, James Kratz, Nation's Capital, in lane 2, 102.21. Second at the end of the fly. In lane 5, Ethan Chania, Long Island Aquatic, 103.05. Tolga Killick now into the lead at the 150. Ahead of Kratz in lane 2. Killick turns now at the 200, 213.51. Second position, James Kratz, Nation's Capital, lane 2, 215.66. And we had a tie at the 200 turn for third between Logston and 5, Chania and 6. Tolga Killick through the breaststroke, turns into 336.16. James Kratz, nation's capital. He turns into 337.62. 1 and 2 from nation's capital. And third position now, Zach Bender, Nova of Virginia, lane 4. Tolga Killick, nation's capital, trying to hold off his teammate James Kratz in lane 2. Killick touching in a time of 4:42.05. Heat 4. Heat 4, lane 1, Carter Murphy, a nation's capital. Lane 2, Quinn Beeson, Team Greenville. Lane 3, Cooper Price, Lakeside. Lane 4, Mikey Newman, Academy Bullets. Lane 5, Teddy Peterson, Mecklenburg. Lane 6, Riley Poirier of Eagle Swim Team. Lane 7, Roman Drews of Rockville, Montgomery. And in lane 8, Alex Arluck from nation's capital. Hundred turn, it's Teddy Peterson, Mecklenburg. 100.00 ahead of Riley Poirier. Eagle Swim Team in lane 6, 100.36. Poirier at the 200, 211.28. Peterson still second in lane 5. Teddy Peterson, Mecklenburg, turns into the freestyle, 3:33.22. Second position, Riley Poirier, Eagles swim team in lane 6. Third in lane 1, Carter Murphy, Nation's Capital. Teddy Peterson, Mecklenburg, bringing it in heat 4, time 4:34.24. Heat 5. Heat 5, lane 1, Kevin Lee, Rockville, Montgomery. Lane 3, Nicholas Liberty of Rockville, Montgomery. Lane 3, Danny Saunders of Machine Aquatics. Lane 5, Sean Zhao, New Trier Aquatics. Lane 6, Aiden Terezas of Izwaki Aquatics. Lane 8, Jack White, Nation's Capital. Aiden Terrazas of Zwacky at the end of the fly, 1:00:63. Second position, Jack White in lane 8, turned in a 1:01.30. Here at the 200, Aiden Terrazas, Zwacky, 2:11.94, ahead of Sean Zhao, New Trier, in lane 5, 2:12.71. Sean Zhao, New Trier, now into the lead at the 250, ahead of Terezas. Sean Zhao of New Trier really making his move here on the breaststroke. Nice, smooth, and stretched out. Zhao turns 335.76. Second position, Danny Saunders, Machine Aquatics now in lane 4, turning to 337.86. And third, Nicholas Liberty from Rockville, Montgomery in lane 3. And Sean Zhao of New Trier, first on the wall in heat 5, 442.31. Heat 6. Heat 6, lane 1, Connor Manier, Nation's Capital. Lane 2, Tommy Westerman, Team Pittsburgh. Lane 3, Brig Barnett, Rockville, Montgomery. Lane 4, Augustus Friedel, Core Swimming. Lane 5, Dylan Haver of Sharks. Lane 6, Gibson Jones, Nova of Virginia. Lane 7, Eagle Swim Team, Raul Shahini. And lane 8, Jack Gravel from Rockville, Montgomery. Dylan Haver turns at the 100, 100.45. Had a Gibson Jones, Nova of Virginia, 101.96. Augustus Friedel course swimming in lane 4. Turning here at the 200, 210.87. Head of Brig Barnett, Rockville Montgomery in lane 3, 212.10. Always seem to get some change over here on the breaststroke leg. 400 IM now out in front, lane 8. Jack Gravel, Rockville Montgomery, 336.28. Ahead of Brig Barnett, Rockville Montgomery in lane 3. Right there with Barnett was Augustus Friedel, of course, swimming in lane 4. .50 to go. Gravel still out front. Second position now, Gibson Jones, Nova Virginia, lane 6. Good race coming into the wall here to close out heat 6. And first to touch, Dylan Haber, Shark Swim Club, 439.91. Here we go into heat 7. Heat 7, lane 1, Ben Franks for Nova Virginia. Lane 2, Landon Quinn, Mountain Valley Aquatics. Lane 3, Josh Farnsworth, Nova Virginia. Lane 4, Corey Beard of Academy Bullets. Lane 5, Gareth Hollander, Nova Virginia. Lane 6, Teddy Motter, Lakeside Swim Team. Lane 7 is Jack Maselli, Nation's Capital. And lane 8, Harris Abernathy of Old North State Aquatics. Hundred turn with Jack Marcelli, Nation's Capital out front, lane 7, 10053. Second to turn at the 100, Ben Franks, Nova Virginia, in lane 1, 101.19 for Franks. Jack Maselli at the 200, 211.40. Harris Abernathy turned in at 211.78. We know we are in Heat 7, but the names on the board have the names from Heat 6. They're working to get that cleared up. Landon Quinn, Mountain Valley Aquatics, lane 2, out front on the breaststroke leg. Shoots himself to the front. Turns going into freestyle now. 3:29.64, second position, lane 6, Teddy Motter, Lakeside swim team. 3:30.98 for Motter. Coming back on the freestyle, lane 6, Teddy Motter, Lakeside swim team. Teddy Motter's going to touch in a time of 4:34.01. Heat 8. Heat 8, lane 1, Jonathan Packard, Greenwich YWCA. Lane 2, Cooper Zucker Kemney of Rockham Montgomery. Lane 3, Rafa Fontana of Nations Capital. Lane 4, Josh Heckler of Edina Swim Club. Lane 5, Wyatt Stetter of Peters Township. Lane 6, Eli Kashish of Edina. Lane 7, Jackson Daniel of Nations Capital. And lane 8 is Gio Bushi of Tide Riders. Eli Kishish, 101.14 at the 100, ahead of Rafa Fontana in lane 3, 101.62. now out front over in lane 1, Jonathan Packard, Greenwich YWCA, into the breaststroke, 2:10.11, ahead of Rafa Fontana. Into the breaststroke. Out in front, still Kashish from Edina, 3:30.68, ahead of Gio Bushi of Tide Riders in lane 8, who turned in a 3:30.73. First on the wall, Gio Bushi here in Heat 8 for Tide Riders, 4:34.20. Heat 9. Here in Heat 9, lane 1, Drew Hodem for Nova, Virginia. Lane 2, Matthew Char of Nation's Capital. Lane 3, Ivan Wang of Parkway Rockwood. Lane 4, Liam Condon of Ole Swimming. Lane 5, Jack Murphy, Academy Bullets. Lane 6, Alexander Thomas, Dad's Club. Lane 7, Oliver Ritchie, Germantown Academy. And lane 8, Patrick O'Connor, Academy Bullets. Hundred turn, Murphy out front, 59.46, ahead of O'Connor in lane 8, 59.67. Jack Murphy of Academy Bullets turns 206.47. O'Connor 209.28. Third in lane 1, Drew Hodem, Nova of Virginia. Jack Murphy, Academy Bullets, lane 5 through the breaststroke, turns in a 330.92, ahead of Patrick O'Connor, also of the Bullets, 332.17. And third now, Oliver Ritchie, Germantown Academy. Jack Murphy, 433.25. Quick so far, heading into heat 10. Heat 10, the first of our circle-seated heats in the preliminaries of men's 400 IM. Lane 1, Benjamin Wasaki of Waukesha Express. Lane 2, Ryan Yao, Long Island Aquatic Club. Lane 3, Walker Simpson of Team Greenville. Lane 4, Vaughn Muir of Old North State Aquatics. Lane 5, Trevor Donley of Rockville, Montgomery. Lane 6, Luke Collins of Sandpiper of Nevada. And Lane 8, Jacob Clark of North Carolina Aquatic Club. Through the fly, Collins turns in lane 6, 101.59. Head of Wasaki over in lane 1, 101.60. 200 turn. Muir now out front in lane 4, 210.58. Ahead of Wasaki over in lane 1, 210.75. Von Muir, Old North State Aquatics, 329.20. Had a Luke Collins, Sandpipers in Nevada, lane 6. On the way back, Von Muir still out front, lane 4. On the charge in 6, Luke Collins from Sandpiper coming down to the finish. And on the wall first, it is Luke Collins, Sandpipers, 429.83. Quick so far, 2 more heats left to go. Heat 11. Heat 11, lane 1, Brody Blatt of Tide Riders. Lane 2, Nicholas Diaconescu of Sandpipers. Lane 3, Cale Chow of Chicago Wolfpack. Lane 4, Justin Shee, Eagle Swim Team. Lane 5, Hampton Stuker of Lakeside. Lane 6, Quinn Motter of Lakeside. Lane 7, Carson Pfeiffer of Sandpipers in Nevada. And lane 8, Blaze Harrison of Lakeside. Justin Shee turns at the 100, 58.26, ahead of Hampton Stuker, lane 5. Justin Shee, Eagle Swim Team, sizable lead here through the backstroke, turns in at 205.62. ahead of Blaze Harrison, Lakeside Swim Team in lane 8, 2:08.97. Third at the 200, lane 6, Quinn Motter of Lakeside, 2:09.53. Justin Shee, Eagle Swim Team, is going to turn here at the end of his breaststroke leg. 3:23.65. Quinn Motter, second, lane 6 from Lakeside, 3:26.84. Justin Shee from Eagle Swim Team is going to be on the wall in a 4:25.58. That's the quickest posting so far with one more heat left to go. Heat 12. Heat 12 is the final preliminary heat of the men's 400 IM. Lane 1, Jack Pollard from Sandpipers of Nevada. Lane 2, Alexander Ovescu from Chicago Wolfpack. Lane 3, Peyton Harrison from Lakeside. Lane 4, Dan Janitis of Academy Bullets. Lane 5, Charlie Hilton of Nova of Virginia. Lane 6, Jack Grimley, Suburban Seahawks. Lane 7, Sam Gao of Sandpipers of Nevada. Lane 8, Harrison Short of Mecklenburg. Hundred turn with Jack Grimley, Suburban Seahawks out front, lane 6, 59.75 ahead of Dan Janitis, Academy Bullets, 100.06. Now into the lead at the 150, Alexander Ovescu, Chicago Wolfpack. Jack Pollard, Sandpiper, was second at the 150 turn. are at the 200. Jack Pollard out front turns in a 209.11. Just ahead of Alexander Vescu in lane 2. Alexander Vescu, Chicago Wolfpack, builds his lead, lane 2, 324.91. Now into second position, Charlie Hilton of Nova of Virginia. Charlie Hilton on the charge. Half a length to go here. Still a Vescu out front in lane 2. And at the wall, it is Charlie Hilton, gets his hand in there. 427.26. Heading into 12 preliminary heats in the women's 100 breaststroke, heat 1. Heat 1, lane 1. Nikolic, Team Pittsburgh. Lane 2, Curry of Tide Riders. Lane 3, Ludke of Academy Bullets. Lane 4, Scully of Huntsville Swim Association. Lane 5, Murray of Zionsville Swim Club. Lane 6, Segal of Team Pittsburgh. Lane 7, Roberson of Ole Swimming. Lane 8, Karowski of Iswaki Aquatics. Coaches and swimmers, heat 12. Those preliminary results now posted. The time is now 10:09. Ava Murray, Zionsville Swim Club, 115.66. Heat 2. Heat 2, lane 1, Defoe for Nations Capital. Lane 2, Rallo for St. Andrews Aquatics. Lane 3, LaBelle for Ole Swimming. Lane 3, Bartula, Academy Bullets. Lane 5, Hare from Mecklenburg. Lane 6, Gerardo, Team Greenville. Lane 7, Clevenger for Coast Guard Blue Dolphins. And Lane 8, Roth for Nations Capital. Lane 3, Caitlin LaBelle, Ole Swimming, 116.23. Heat 3. Heat 3, Thorpe for Lakeside. Lane 2 is Piriakulave from Nassau Wildcat Aquatics. Lane 3, Kramer for Team Greenville. Lane 4, Munchel for Nations Capital. Lane 5, Gordon for Zionsville. Lane 6, Golden for Hershey Aquatic. And lane 7 is Lee for Fishers Area Swimming Tigers. Heat 3 on the wall. Anna Thorpe, Lakeside Swim Team, 117.35. Heat 4. Heat 4, Fletcher for Nations Capital. Lane 2, Buckley for Nations Capital. Lane 3, Daly for Lakeside. Lane 4, Lions for Long Island Aquatic. Lane 5, Ramey for Fast Tigers. Lane 6, Byers for Stingrays. Lane 7, Rogenbach for Ole Swimming. And lane 8, Tomlinson for Nassau Wildcat Aquatics. Molly Daly, Lakeside in lane 3. Daly's time, 116.26. Heat 5. Heat 5. Lane 1, shot from Team Pittsburgh. 2, Struder from Stingray Swim Team. Lane 3, Russell from Lakeside. Lane 4, Lee from Rockville, Montgomery. Lane 5, Westfall for Coast Guard Blue Dolphins. Lane 6, Robick from Tide Riders. Lane 7, Brockman from Chicago Wolfpack. And lane 8, Philo for H2 Oki Aquatics. Pretty tight here in Heat 5. Coming into the wall, and first to touch is Alexa Brockman, Chicago Wolfpack. 117.57, now into Heat 6. Heat 6, lane 1. Tansy for Rockville Montgomery. Lane 2, Military from Petty Aquatics. Lane 3, Manic for Academy Bullets. Lane 4, Baroker for Zionsville Swim Club. Lane 5, Davis for Aquatic Team of Mecklenburg. Lane 6, Dave for Rockville Montgomery. Lane 7, France from Rockville Montgomery. And lane 8 is Gang for Sandpipers in Nevada. Helen Manic Academy Bullets here in Heat 6. But Militaire gets to the wall first. Petty Aquatics, 116.24. Heat 7. Heat 7, lane 1, Bassett for Long Island Aquatic. Lane 2, Loftus for Nations Capital. Lane 3, Martin for Dad's Club. Lane 5, Marsh for Sharks Swim Club. Lane 6, Baumgartner for Huntsville Swim Association. Lane 7, Kelly for Nassau Wildcat Aquatics. And lane 8, Rogie for New Trier. First to touch in Heat 7, Jenny Baumgartner, Huntsville Swim Association, 115.50, and now Heat 8. Heat 8, lane 1, Welch for Dad's Club. Lane 2, Huppengarner for Mecklenburg. Lane 3, Cortez Martinez for Nations Capital. Lane 4, Gasecki for Dad's Club. Lane 5, Klein for Mecklenburg. Lane 6, Green for Lakeside. Lane 7, Laxo for Rockville Montgomery, and lane 8, Campbell for Sandpipers of Nevada. Taylor Huppengarner for Mecklenburg Swimming in lane 2. Huppengarner touching in a 1:14.36, quick so far, into heat 9. Heat 9, off from Mansfield Aquatic in lane 1. Lane 2 is Smith from Dad's Club. Lane 3, Benvenuto from Mecklenburg. Lane 4, Workington of Sandpiper, Nevada. Lane 5, Williams Nova of Virginia. Lane 6, McAnee of Mecklenburg Swimming. Lane 7, Welch from Tide Riders. And lane 8, Hines from Fisher's Area Swimming Tigers. Lane 4, Catherine Workington, Sandpipers of Nevada. Posts a time of 1:12.84, and that is fast so far. Heat 10. Heat 10, first of our circle-seated heats in the preliminaries of the women's 100 breaststroke. Lane 1, Calhoun from XL Aquatics. Lane 2, McNeil from New Trier. Lane 3, Kadori from Rockville Montgomery. Lane 4, Suchucky from Suburban Seahawks. Lane 5, Moore for Academy Bullets. Lane 5, Patton from Long Island Aquatic. Lane 7, Ono from Mecklenburg. And in lane 8, Gorski from Medina Swim Club. 50 turning out in front, Riley McNeil, New Trier, 34.47, ahead of Gorski in lane 8 for Medina, 34.59. Lane 3, Angela Kadori, Rockville Montgomery. Kadori's time, 1:12.50. New quick with 2 more heats. Heat 11. Heat 11, lane 1, Sanjaya from Rockville Montgomery. Lane 2, Peterson for Dad's Club. Lane 3, Ramey from Lakeside. Lane 4, Falk from Tide Riders. Lane 5, Deal from Lakeside. Lane 6, Brown from Team Greenville. Lane 7, Montel from Academy Bullets. And lane 8, Cheng from Chicago Wolfpack. Meet record of the women's 100 breaststroke, 1:08.59. Letitia Sim, TNT Swimming, 2021. Lane 4, Emma Faulk of CSP Tide Riders. Faulk's time, 1:10.71, and that is the new quick posting with one more heat left to go. Heat 12. Heat 12, the final preliminary heat of the women's 100 breaststroke. Lane 1, Gonzalez for Academy Bullets. Lane 2, Boland for Fort Wayne Swim Team. Lane 3, Knox from Mecklenburg. Lane 4, Alderman from Ochi Aquatics. Lane 5, Esperanza from Academy Bullets. Lane 6, Druhan from Mecklenburg Swimming. Lane 7, Wilson from Brownsburg. And Lane 8, Roth from Nation's Capital. There's the 50 turn, and out in front, Laney Alderman, H2 Ochi Aquatics, 33.80. Second at the 50, Morgan Knox, Mecklenburg in lane 3, 34.04. Laney Alderman, H2 Ochi Aquatics out front. Quick time out of the last heat, 1:10.71. And Alderman's on the wall in a time of 1:11.21. Fourteen preliminary heats up next. Men's 100 breaststroke, heat 1. Heat 1, lane 1, Capon from Academy Bullets. Lane 2, Bruner from Ole Swimming. Lane 3, Wellman for North Carolina Aquatic. Lane 4, McMahon from Greenwich YWCA. Lane 5, Peters for Edina. Lane 6, Porter for Eagle Swim Team. Lane 7, Schifrin from Aquatic Team of Mecklenburg. Swimmers and coaches, event 13, women's 100 breaststroke is now posted. The time now is 10:29. Jack Wellman, North Carolina, here in lane 3. Going to start us off in the preliminaries of the men's 100 breaststroke, a time of 1:09.52. Heat 2. Heat 2, lane 1, Bushman from Nova, Virginia. Lane 2, Lucian from Nassau Wildcat Aquatics. Lane 3, Partridge from Ole Swimming. Lane 4, Keppert from Izwaki Aquatics. Lane 4, Redfern from Nova, Virginia. Lane 6, Pichette from Rockville, Montgomery. Lane 7, Fisher from Rockville, Montgomery. And lane 8, Meyer from Zionsville Swim Club. Lucian from Nassau Wildcat at the 50, 31.25, ahead of Pichette from Rockville, Montgomery in lane 6. Heat 2 touching now. First on the wall, lane 6. Jackson Pichette, Rockville, Montgomery, 1:07.60. Heat 3. Heat 3, Lane 1, Cooper from Huntsville Swim Association. Lane 2, Solis from Rockville, Montgomery. Lane 3, Sapp from Parkway, Rockwood. Lane 4, Petrie from Mecklenburg Swimming. Lane 5, Corbett from Tide Riders. Lane 6, Bogner from Team Greenville. Lane 7 is Baraga from Lakeside. And lane 6, Sanjaya from Rockville, Montgomery. Baraga from Lakeside at the 50, 32.54. Tied at the turn with Sanjaya of Rockville, Montgomery. Again, they were 32.54. First to touch out of Heat 3 is Brian Sanjaya, Rockville, Montgomery, 109.89, Heat 4. Heat 4, lane 1, Killick from Nation's Capital. Lane 2, Simpson from Team Greenville. Lane 3, Shalom from Aquatic Team of Mecklenburg. Lane 4, Jungbluth from Rockville, Montgomery. Lane 5, Robinson from Chicago Wolfpack. Lane 6, Antley of Shark Swim Team. Lane 7, Beard of Academy Bullets. And lane 8, D'Angel from Dad's Club. Heat 4 into the backstroke flags. And first to touch out of lane 2, Walker Simpson, Team Greenfield, 108.90, Heat 5. Heat 5, lane 1, Vandenstock for Mecklenburg. Lane 2, Fishman for Fast Tigers. Lane 3, Legler for Dad's Club. Lane 4, Neal for Kentucky Aquatics. Lane 5, Ami from Rockville, Montgomery. Lane 6, Befuik of Team Pittsburgh. Lane 7, Lee from Nation's Capital. And lane 8 is Langdon from Tide Riders. NCSA meet record in this event, 10086. Karsten Vissering, Nation's Capital in 2015. Heat 5 touching, and first on the wall, Danis Vekubic of Team Pittsburgh, 107.84. Heat 6. Heat 6, lane 1, Walk of North Carolina Aquatic. Lane 2, Wergley from Nation's Capital. Lane 3, Giesemann for Fishers Area Swimming Tigers. Lane 4, Kulak from Long Island Aquatic Club. Lane 5, Lichtenberg from Nassau Wildcat Aquatic. Lane 6, Martinez from Nation's Capital. Lane 7, Decina swimming unattached. Lane 8, Frost from Tide Riders. Heat 6 finishing up now. First on the wall, Xavier Kulak, Long Island Aquatic Club, 107.57. Heat 7. Heat 7, Lane 1, Filster Melendez of Long Island Aquatic. Lane 2, Ward of Academy Bullets. Lane 3, Upshaw of Fast Tigers. Lane 4, Falara Academy Bullets. Lane 5, Smith of Rockville Montgomery. Lane 5, Livesey from Shark Swim Club. Lane 7, Hilton and Nova, Virginia. And Lane 8, Ivorone Garza of Rockville Montgomery. Carmine Fleurer Academy Bullets in lane 4. Fleur's time 107.17. That's fast so far. Heading into Heat 8. Heat 8, lane 1 is Eris from Mecklenburg. Lane 2, Perot from Long Island Aquatic. Lane 3, White from Machine Aquatics. Lane 4, Sears from New Trier. Lane 5, Areola from Chicago Wolfpack. And lane 7 is Lombardo from Rockville Montgomery. Charlie Sears, New Trier in lane 4. Leads Heat 8 to the wall. Sears time, 105.09. That is the quickest time as we're working our way through the preliminaries of men's 100 breaststroke. Heat 9. Heat 9, lane 1 with Dawson from Rockville, Montgomery. 2 is Greer from Nation's Capital. Lane 3, Martin for Nova of Virginia. Lane 4, Simons for Long Island Express. Lane 5, So for Course Swimming. Lane 6, Moran for Tide Riders. Lane 7, Char for Nation's Capital. And lane 8, Spillane for Academy Bullets. On the wall first in heat 9 out of lane 6. Connor Moran of Tide Riders, 105.97. Heat 10. Heat 10, lane 1, Robinson for Nations Capital. Lane 2, Avascu for Chicago Wolfpack. Lane 3, Otto for Suburban Seahawks. Lane 4, Fastridge for Hershey Aquatic. Lane 5, Franks for Nova of Virginia. Lane 6, Besdick for Shark Swim Club. Lane 7, Stetter, Peters Township. And lane 8 is Rabe for Nations Capital. Pouring it on in lane 2, Alexander Avascu, Chicago Wolfpack. Over on this side of the pool, you got Stetter and Rab in 7 and 8, and it is Wyatt Stetter touching first here from Peters Township in a time of 106.27, heat 11 now. Heat 11, lane 1 is Harrell from Nova of Virginia. Lane 2, Beyer for Stingrays. Lane 3 is Stoller from Nassau Wildcat Aquatics. Lane 5, Shaper from Carolina Aquatics. Lane 5, Scheringer from Lakeside. Lane 6, Archibald from Stingrays. Lane 7, Prince for Azawaki Aquatics. And lane 8, Hamilton for Rockville Montgomery. Jack Hamilton, Rockville Montgomery in lane 8, 105.26. Heat 12. Heat 12, the first of our circle-seated heats in the preliminaries of the men's under breaststroke. Lane 1, Zhang for New Trier. Lane 2, Wood for Nations Capital. Lane 3, Davis for Eagle Swim Team. Lane 4, Tran for Hershey Aquatic. Lane 5, Durham for Lakeside. Lane 6, Saunders for Machine Aquatics. Lane 7, Hardy for Mecklenburg. And lane 8, Fontana, Nations Capital. Out front at the 50 is Danny Saunders, Machine Aquatics, 29.81, ahead of Owen Durham, Lakeside in lane 5. Into the wall they come in heat 12, and touching first, Danny Saunders, Machine Aquatics, 103.78 with our new quick posting. 2 more heats left to go, heat 13. Heat 13, lane 1, Beslick for Machine Aquatics. Lane 2, Jones for Kentucky Aquatics. Lane 3, Larkin for Waukesha Express. 4, Weiner also from Waukesha Express. Lane 5, Thomas for Shark Swim Club. Lane 6, Coe for New Trier. Lane 7, Zhao for Team Pittsburgh. And lane 8, Yao for Long Island Aquatic. At the 50, Will Jones, Kentucky Aquatics, 30.01 ahead of Jeremiah Thomas, the Sharks in lane 5, 30.05. Will Larkin, Waukesha Express in lane 3. This is going to be Will Larkin, 104.62. Heat 14. Final preliminary heat of the men's 100 breaststroke. Lane 1, Dong for Dad's Club. Lane 2, Kang for Lakeside. Lane 3, Lou for Eagle Swim Team. Lane 4, Bagoff for Dad's Club. Lane 5, Zahusky for Machine Aquatics. Lane 6, Yamamoto for Dad's Club. Lane 7, Postavilov for Academy Bullets. And lane 8, Boyd for Lakeside. 50 turn, we're there, and Bugoff out front, 29.50. Second position is Zahusky for Machine Aquatics in lane 5. Jacob Ugave, Dad's Club. And the time, 102.95, the quickest time turned into the preliminaries of men's 100 breaststroke. 9 preliminary heats up next in women's 200 butterfly, heat 1. Heat 1, we got Kent from Nation's Capital. Lane 2, Billet for Academy Bullets. 3 is Simon, also for Academy Bullets. Lane 4, Janowiak from Wheaton Swim Club. Lane 5, Weiner for Waukesha Express. 6, Saheda for our team Pittsburgh. Lane 7, Montel from Academy Bullets. Hundred turn in heat 1. And Simon out front, 106.92 ahead of Weiner in lane 5. Swimmers and coaches, event 14, men's 100 breaststroke is now a posted event. Time now is 10:50. Heat 1 finishing, and in lane 7, Maggie Montiel, Academy Bullets, 2:25.03, heading into Heat 2. Heat 2, lane 1, Yak for Fort Wayne Swim Team. Lane 2, Graham from Academy Bullets. Lane 3, Hall for Nova of Virginia. Lane 4, Birch from Zionsville. Lane 5, Jacobs for Nova of Virginia. Lane 6, Alexander from Team Greenville. Lane 7, Hudson from Nova of Virginia. And lane 8, Proper from Nation's Capital. Alexander turned at the 100, lane 6, 105.48, ahead of Jacobs in lane 5. Heat 2 coming in. Oriole Hall, Nova of Virginia. Lane 3, 220.98. Heat 3. Heat 3, lane 1, Barr for Team Greenville, 2, Porter for Tide Riders. Lane 3, Holzer for Germantown Academy. Lane 3, Lou for Suburban Seahawks. Lane 5, Whaley for Academy Bullets. Lane 6, Green for Lakeside. Lane 7, Edwards for Nation's Capital. And lane 8, Coffee for Academy Bullets. We need a coach from Machine Aquatics and Nation's Capital. Please go to the lower admin table. Need a coach from Machine Aquatics and Nation's Capital to report to the lower admin table. Heat 3 getting ready to finish here. And first to touch, lane 5, Samantha Whaley. Academy Bullets in a 2:22.82. Heat 4. Heat 4, lane 1, Mason of Rockville, Montgomery. 2, Russell of Nation's Capital. Lane 3, Gonzalez of Coast Guard Blue Dolphins. Lane 4, Parsons of Chelsea Piers Aquatic. Lane 5, Whitney from Suburban Seahawks. Lane 6, Fedorenko of Chelsea Piers. Lane 7, Morrison from Nation's Capital. And lane 8, Bill Geiser from Irish Aquatics. Carolyn Whitney, Suburban Seahawks, going to turn at the 100, 106.19, ahead of Aylin Bill Geiser, Irish Aquatics in lane 8, 106.56. Heat 5, lane 1, Morgan for Nation's Capital. Lane 2, Dive for Long Island Aquatic Club. Lane 3, Casanovas for Academy Bullets. Lane 4, Purchase for Arlington Aquatic. Lane 5, Frost for Team Pittsburgh. Lane 6, Chan for Huntsville Swim Association. Lane 7, Kai for Rockville Montgomery. And lane 8, Shapiro for Lakeside Swim Team. Karina Dye with 100 split, 105.64. Ahead of Ali Casanovas, Academy Bullets, 106.39. NCSA record of the women's 200 butterfly, 211.04. Taylor Pike, Razorback Aquatic in 2017. Karina Dye in lane 2. Ali Casanovas, Academy Bullets, makes a charge here at the end. And it is Ali Casanovas Academy Bullets in a 2:19.82, heat 6. Here in heat 6, lane 1, Burley for North Carolina Aquatic. Lane 4, Williams for Nova of Virginia. Lane 3, Hepper for Nova of Virginia. Lane 4 is Dome of Chicago Wolfpack. Lane 5, Meyer of Iswaukee Aquatics. Lane 6, Yancey for Tide Riders. Lane 7, Suchi for Edina. And lane 8, Green for Parkway Rockwood. Hundred turn for Olivia Meyer is Waukee, 106.10. Head of Aubrey Yancey, Tide Riders in lane 6, 06.87. Aubrey Yancey of Tide Riders here in heat 6, and Yancey's time 117.76. Heat 7. Heat 7, the first of our circle-seated heats in the preliminaries of women's 200 butterfly. Lane 1, Alvarado for NASA Wildcat Aquatics. Lane 2, Barty of Mecklenburg. Lane 3, Kaufman from Sandpipers of Nevada. Lane 4, Brager from Lakeside. Lane 5, Slater from Mansfield Aquatic. Lane 6, Kadori, Rockville, Montgomery. Lane 7, Litzow from New Trier, and lane 8, Heisman from Edina. Casey Brager is going to turn at the 100, 103.70. Second at the 100, Abigail Slater, Mansfield Aquatic, 105.98. Casey Brager still out front. Abigail Slater second in lane 5. Casey Brager from Lakeside here in Heat 7. 2:15.82, quick so far. Heat 8. Heat 8, lane 1, Dela Cruz for Academy Bullets. Lane 2, Nicola from Academy Bullets. Lane 3, Wheat for Fishers Area Swimming Tigers. Lane 4, Renaud for Tide Riders. Lane 5, Hunter for Zionsville. Lane 6, Glassley for Fort Wayne Swim Team. Lane 7, Koner for Long Island Aquatic. Lane 8, Geiger for Greenwich YWCA. There's the 100 turn, Ariana Necula, Academy Bullets, 105.14. Second at the 100, lane 5, Haley Hunter, Zionsville Swim Club, 105.34. Haley Hunter is Zionsville, brings them back here in Heat 8. Quick time so far out of the last heat, 2:15.82. And Haley Hunter with a time of 2:15.64. Fastest posting so far, heading into our final heat, Heat 9. Our final preliminary heat of the women's 200 butterfly. Lane 1 is Aldegar, Nation's Capital. Lane 2, Cushman, also from Nation's Capital. Lane 3, Jones from Kentucky Aquatics. Lane 4, McKay of Ole Swimming. Lane 5, Packard from Greenwich YWCA. Lane 6, Wagner for Nova, Virginia. Lane 7, Schneider for Team Greenville. And lane 8, Dwyer for Dad's Club. Aubriel McKay, Ole Swimming. 100 turn, 104.90 ahead of Mia Jones, Kentucky Aquatics in lane 3, 105.32. Again, our final preliminary heat in the women's 200 butterfly. Aubriel McKay with half a length to go here. Aubriel McKay of Ole. 216.45. Next, it'll be 19 preliminary heats in the men's 100 backstroke. Heat 1. Lane 1, Harris for Kentucky Aquatics. Lane 2, Blandford for Lakeside. Lane 3, Fishman for Fishers Area Swimming Tigers. Lane 4, York for Team Greenville. Lane 5, Rump for Nation's Capital. Lane 6, Axleoglu from Rockville Montgomery. Lane 7, Ivaroni Garza from Rockville Montgomery. And that is your Heat 1 lineup here. First of 19 heats to be swum, men's 100 backstroke. Swimmers and coaches, Heat 15, the women's 200 butterfly is now posted. Time now is 11:14. Brendan Rump, Nation's Capital, 10024. Heat 2. Heat 2, Lane 1, Howard for Team Pittsburgh. Lane 2, Miller for Izwaki Aquatics. Lane 3, Chen for Dad's Club. Lane 4, Abel for Machine Aquatics. Lane 5, Strom for Parkway Rockwood. Lane 6, Klein for Warwick, Indiana Tidal Wave. Lane 7, Brager for Lakeside. And Lane 8, Simonis for H2 Oki Aquatics. First on the wall, Max Miller, Izwaki Aquatics, 10043. Heat 3. Heat 3, Lane 1, Sityar for Mansfield Aquatic. Lane 2, Sweeney for Lakeside. Lane 3, Puri for Aquatic Team of Mecklenburg. Lane 4, Upshaw for Fishers Area Swimming Tigers. Lane 5, Shum for Long Island Express. Lane 6, Dykeman for Parkway Rockwood. 7, Yorfi for Mecklenburg. Lane 8, Turner for Suburban Seahawks. Swimmers, don't forget, if you are a top seed in an individual event this evening, you'd like to pick your walkout music, see me before you head back for your afternoon break. Caleb Yorfie of Mecklenburg, 100.14. Heat 4. Heat 4, Lane 1, Peng for Long Island Aquatic. Lane 2, Wardlaw for Tsunami Swim Team. Lane 3, Slater for Zionsville. Lane 4, the Rancho for Nations Capital. Lane 5, Tompe for Nova of Virginia. Lane 6, Curacis from Nova of Virginia. Lane 7, Euchre for Stingrays. Lane 8, Patterson for Mountain Valley Aquatics. Last name for that swimmer in lane 6, Arcarisi. And in lane 3, Kyrie Slater, Zionsville, 100.27. Heat 5. Heat 5, lane 1, Landwehr for Nations Capital. Lane 2, Logston for Lakeside. Lane 3, Price for Lakeside. Lane 5, Mira for Tide Riders. Lane 6, Hover for Nations Capital. Lane 7, Citron for Long Island Aquatic. And lane 8, Yao for Long Island Aquatic Club. Henry Murrah, Tide Riders in lane 5. Here in Heat 5. Mira on the wall in a time of 59.65, quick so far. Heat 6. Here in Heat 6, lane 1, Peterson for Academy Bullets. Lane 2, Harrell for Nova of Virginia. Lane 3, Crook for Mountain Valley Aquatics. Lane 4, Jabreen Zika from Nassau Wildcat Aquatics. Lane 5, Huang, also for Nassau Wildcat. Lane 6, Keaton for Carolina Aquatic. Lane 7, Finley for Parkway Rockwood. And lane 8, Bodie for Greenwich YWCA. And it's Drayden Finley, Parkway Rockwood in lane 7, 59.97. Heat 7. Heat 7, Lane 1, McKelvey for Team Pittsburgh. Lane 2, Full Wire for Nation's Capital. Lane 3, Waynard for Nova of Virginia. Lane 4, Husney for Lakeside. Lane 5, Orlandini for St. Andrews Aquatics. Lane 6, Robertson for Dad's Club. Lane 7, Brinsfield for Suburban Seahawks. Lane 8, Nagel for Edina. Hamza Husney of Lakeside, 59.70. Heat 8. Heat 8, Lane 1, Rose for Lakeside. Lane 2, Tyndall for Huntsville Swim Association. Lane 3, Thompson for Lakeside. Lane 4, Johnson for Boilermaker. Lane 5, Seidenfaden, Indiana Swim Club. Lane 6, Lee for Rockville Montgomery. Lane 7, Jakowski for Izwaki Aquatics. And Lane 8, Maselli for Nation's Capital. NCSA meet record in the men's 100 backstroke here of 54.95 by John Crush of Lakeside, 2023. Over in lane 1, Will Rose is looking strong, Lakeside. And Rose does take heat 8 and posts a time of 59.41. Heat 9. Heat 9, lane 1, Rankin from Lakeside. Lane 2, Mitchell from Old North State Aquatics. Lane 3, Tavornik from Rockville Montgomery. Lane 4, Zhao from New Trier. Lane 5, Earhart from Mecklenburg Swimming. Lane 6, Dashko from Germantown Academy. Lane 7, Curry from Brownsburg. And lane 8, Cruz from Academy Bullets. Landon Cruz from Academy Bullets in lane 8, 59.30. Quickest posting so far. Into heat 10 we go. Heat 10, lane 1, Agans for Team Pittsburgh. 2, Quinn for Mountain Valley Aquatics. Lane 3, Guth for Chicago Wolfpack. Lane 4, Abernathy for Old North State Aquatics. Lane 5, Collins for Fort Wayne Swim Team. Lane 6, Vickers for Dad's Club. Lane 7, Mahoney for Old North State. And lane 8, Kalka for Nation's Capital. Here in Heat 10, Landon Quinn, Mountain Valley Aquatics, 58.75. Quick so far as we now start Heat 11. Heat 11, lane 1 is a Dauntless for New Trier. Lane 2, Tranchem Montenegro for Machine Aquatics. Lane 3, Murphy for Nations Capital. Lane 4, Killick for Nations Capital. Lane 5, Senior for Fast Tigers. Lane 6, Bears for Nations Capital. Lane 7, Williams for Machine Aquatics. And lane 8, Landell for Dad's Club. Gordon Bears, Nations Capital, 59.61, Heat 12. Heat 12, lane 1, Kitching for Shark Swim Club. Lane 2, Edwards for Machine Aquatics. Lane 3, Ball for Azwaki Aquatics. Lane 4, Rabe for Nations Capital. Lane 5, O'Connor for Azwaki Aquatics. Lane 6, Humbert for Academy Bullets. Lane 7, Mittler for North Carolina Aquatic. And lane 8, Taylor for Team Greenville. Here in Heat 12, Wyatt Ball, Azwaki Aquatics. Lane 3, 59.03. Heat 13. Heat 13, lane 1, Turner for Suburban Seahawks. Lane 2, Cook for Nova of Virginia. Lane 3, Lee for Lakeside. Lane 4, Dealey for Excel Aquatics. Lane 5, Montgomery for Parkway Rockwood. Lane 6, Patsky for Waukesha Express. Lane 7, Church for Team Greenville. And lane 8, Ostrander for Ole Swimming. Harrison Lee, Lakeside Swim Team, lane 3, 58.57. Quickest posting as we head into Heat 14. Heat 14, lane 1, Besdick for Shark Swim Club. Lane 2, McMinn for Lakeside. Lane 3, Ward for Academy Bullets. Lane 4, Barnett for Rockville Montgomery. Lane 5, Huell for Waukesha Express. Lane 6, Costello for Tide Riders. Lane 7, Aku for Long Island Express. And lane 8 is McCann for Zionsville Swim Club. Steeler Huell, Waukesha Express in lane 5, 58.61. Heat 15. Heat 15, lane 1 is Daniel for Nations Capital. Lane 2, Landers for Greenwich YWCA. Lane 3, Weeks for Irish Aquatics. Lane 4, Andrews for Team Greenville. Lane 5, Korchnak for Boilermaker Aquatics. Lane 6, Atkins for Parkway Rockwood. Lane 7, Taylor for Team Greenville. And lane 8, Wayner for Waukesha Express. John Landers, Greenwich YWCA out there in lane 2. Landers with a time of 58.19. A quick posting to this point. Heat 16. Heat 16, lane 1, Mater for Lakeside. Lane 2, Hanson for Nations Capital. Lane 4, Neville for Suburban Seahawks. Lane 5, Schreier for Brownsburg Swim Club. Lane 6, Harrison for Lakeside. Lane 7, O'Connor for Academy Bullets. And lane 8, Nazaroff for Sandpipers of Nevada. Lane 3, Gabe Hansen, Nations Capital. Up first on the wall, getting in there is Maxim Nazaroff of Sandpipers at the last minute, 57.83. Now we go with Heat 17. First of our circle-seated heats here in the preliminaries to the men's 100 backstroke. Lane 1, Wagner for Academy Bullets. Lane 2, Leginski for Ole. Lane 3, Terrazas for Azwaki Aquatics. Lane 4, Wittick for Nations Capital. Lane 5, Bridges for Team Greenville. Lane 6 is Packard for Greenwich YWCA. 7, Canine for Tide Riders. And lane 8, Liu Chorba Badiski of New Trier Aquatics. Joe Whittick, Nation's Capital in lane 4. 59.23, posting a big time there. Heat 18. Heat 18, lane 1, Nunes Fuller of Nation's Capital. Lane 2, Murphy for Academy Bullets. Lane 3, Edwards for Team Pittsburgh. Lane 4, Eford for Dad's Club. Lane 5, Zhao for Nation's Capital. Lane 6, Eitkins for Dad's Club. Lane 7, Beckley for Lakeside. Lane 8, O'Shea for Nation's Capital. We got Eford in 4, Zhao in 5. Into the wall they go. They reach and touch in first. Parker Eford, Dad's Club, in a time of 56.73. Heat 19. Heat 19 is our final preliminary heat of the men's 100 backstroke. Lane 1, Wasatke from Waukesha. Lane 2, Heiser from Zionsville. Lane 3, Fleming from Suburban Seahawks. Lane 4, Whiteford from Team Pittsburgh. Lane 5, Chu for Tide Riders. Lane 6, Coyle for Kentucky Aquatics. Lane 7, Zuhowski for Machine Aquatics. And Lane 8, Chow for Chicago Wolfpack. Grant Fleming, 56.41 to close us out in men's 100 backstroke. We got a swim-off coming up in men's 100 breaststroke. Our swim-off in men's 100 breaststroke, lane 4, Luca Beslik from Machine Aquatics. Lane 5, Alex Wood from Nation's Capital. They tied at a 1:06.02 in their earlier preliminary swims in men's 100 breaststroke. There's the turn. Wood slightly out in front. 0.03 of a second ahead of Beslick. Luca Beslick coming back now. Less than half a length to go. Alex Wood's not done. Alex Wood coming back here at the end. It's going to be a close one. And first to touch is Alex Wood, nation's capital, in a time of 105.72. Both those gentlemen swimming quicker than their earlier time of a 106.02. So nice job, guys. That's going to close out our preliminary session. Warm up for finals this afternoon at 4 o'clock with finals competition beginning at 5. Swimmers, if you're still here, you're a top seed in an event for this evening. You'd like to pick out your parade music, you need to do so before you go.